Hello, my name is Darla Barolini and I'm a teaching artist. I specialize in portraiture and today I'm going to show you some of my techniques. Finding shape, shadows, and form in the human face. Supply list. What will you need for this project? Here's just a quick outline of what you'll need for this project. You will need a grayscale photo, pencil, paper, cardboard or canvas, acrylic paint, water, paintbrush, paper towels, and a paper plate. We will go through all of these in more detail. A black and white photo. It could be a black and white photo of yourself or a friend. So if you have a photo lying around, it doesn't have to be you, it could be anyone. You want to take that photo and put it into grayscale. And here I'll show you how to do that. Here I'm using a Dell computer and I'm just editing this photo in my photo application. You can use an app to do this as well. If you already know how to do this, you can go ahead and skip forward. This is the photo that I will be using today. Why do we put the photo into grayscale? Putting the photo in grayscale will help us distinguish some of the values on the face. This will also make it easier to see shapes and draw from as a reference. I will talk a little bit more about shapes and how to find them on the face. The next item you will need is some sort of surface to draw on. If you don't have a canvas pad, don't worry. There's many other surfaces that you can draw on. For example, paper, cardboard, wood, watercolor paper, etc. Here are some images of the surfaces that I prefer to draw on. Note that canvas is sturdier than using paper, but if you want to experiment, I would recommend experimenting on paper or cardboard. I myself really enjoy painting on cardboard. Now, cardboard is perishable, but for practice, it's great material to use. You can also practice, as I mentioned, on a small sheet of 8 by 12 paper, and when you're more comfortable, move on to 20 by 30 canvas. You will also need a drawing utensil such as a pencil. You can choose to have an eraser nearby to clean up any lines as well. Drawing can be a little tricky and intimidating at first. Here are some suggestions to help you along the way. One really important trick is drawing upside down. Take your reference photo and turn it upside down. Then take your drawing board or paper and turn that upside down. Then begin to draw the shapes that you see on the face. Here are some examples of shapes one sees in the face. You use light and dark masses. See this picture here where I outlined some basic shapes? This is what you're looking for. Drawing upside down tricks your brain into seeing these shapes rather than seeing the human face. We all have preconceived notions on how the human face is supposed to look, but we want to get rid of those preconceived notions so that we look at the face objectively. We're drawing what we see rather than what we think we see. Second, if that's not working for you and it's a little bit too difficult, you can use a light table or even your window to trace over the photo. If you want to use your window, you just tape the photo that you printed out onto the window. You want to do this during the day because that's when there's a lot of light. Then, you place the piece of paper, 8 by 12, over that and you trace over the picture. It should work just like a light table. The light will be shining through, allowing you to trace the photo. You can also use the gridding method. If you choose to use this method, I would suggest doing some research on it. Lastly, you can draw freehand. This is the method that I prefer. When you use this method, you will notice the proportions are not always correct. I kind of like that. I do not strive for perfection in my drawings. Therefore, I do enjoy drawing freehand. Now that you have a sketch, it's time to find some paint. Since we'll only be looking for shadow masses today, you will need brown and black paint. You can also use ink if you have that around. I, for one, use Basics acrylic paint. Here's an example of the brown and the black that I would typically use. Now that you have the paint, you will need a place to put it. Typically, artists use a palette. If you don't have a palette, a paper or styrofoam plate will work just fine. Place your paints on the plate just like this. Finally, you will need a cup of water and a paintbrush. You can also have a roll of paper towels around to clean up anything that gets messy, but this is optional. Now, using your cup of water, add a little water to the paint blobs that are on your styrofoam plate. This is to water down the paint. You want to water it down to a consistency that looks kind of like this. Then you're ready to paint. So let's